welcome to my channel. My name is Melody, and today I want to show you my DNA test results from 23andMe. So it's not going to be very interesting, I think. Both of my parents are from Iran, so it's gonna be a high content from Iran. And all I know is my grandmother, she used to speak Turkish, and but she wasn't from Turkey. She was from a country north of Iran. So yeah, the only reason I did this was I was interested to know my Neanderthal content, and I wanted to see from like my grandmother's side, which is probably like a very low percentage. I wanted to see what I would get from like the Turkish part. Yeah, pretty much. And also I did the health and ancestry, so I'm curious to see if I have any predispositions to any like diseases, because that would be important when you want to have kids. If like both the mom and dad are predisposed to something, that will put like the baby at a high risk. So I thought this would be it was something that I wanted to do. And yeah, I'm gonna share the results. Being from Iran, it means that like it's a really old country, and throughout history it's been through a lot of like it's been ruled by a lot of different civilizations, attacked by a lot of powerful dynasties and civilizations. Like I can think of the Greeks attacking Iran, the Arabs attacking Iran, the Mongolians attacking Iran, the Ottoman Turkish Empire attacking. So it's been through a lot, and all of that influences the culture and the genetics probably. But I think even though it's been through a lot, it's still amazing that it exists. It is preserved, and as you can see, like I think DNA wise, it's been preserved as well, which is kind of interesting. But again, like it doesn't show ancestry that is really far away. So if you're interested in history, I'm gonna link a video in the description that shows the history of the world from the beginning. It's super cool, and yeah, you should watch it. Another thing that some people ask is like why it's called Iran, and then why you're called Persian, and why your language is called Farsi. So like why are there so many names? The reason is before there were three groups of people: Persian, Parthian, and Medians, and they all lived in Iran, which means the land of the Aryans. So all three groups were known as Aryan. And we also have like boy names Aryan, girl names Ariana. Like these are very Iranian names. So Persians lived where the capital used to be, and that's why the name it got like more relevant throughout the years. And also, so Persian or Parsian and Pars, like Parsi language it became Farsi because in the Arabic language there's no P sound or in the script, so the P got replaced by F, and it became Farsi. So this just explains all the nomenclature, and yeah, let's get into the results. So in terms of the ancestry results, you can see just from this circle how pure it is. There's like just one thing going on. So let's see the ancestry results. So Western, Asian, and North African, 100%. Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian, 96.7%. It also shows which provinces you have ancestry from. So I'm like, most of my ancestry is in terms of the provinces. My parents are from Tehran, but my dad's side are from Iraq province, and my mom, they are from Qazvin, and also, as I said, like this country that is in the north, Azerbaijan. They're also from there. And then it shows 3.3% Anatolian, which is the region where it's the modern day Turkey. But as I said, my mom's side, they spoke Turkish, but they were not from Turkey. They were just from here, Azerbaijan. But it's so weird that it shows Turkey. So yeah, let's see the Iranian part where it shows in terms of provinces. It's also really weird that I don't have any Arabic, even though they're so close to us. There's like nothing, no Arabic in me. It's pretty much pure Iranian. So your DNA suggests that 96.7% of your ancestry is Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian, from Armenians and Assyrians to Kartvelians and Persians, the diverse people of Iran, the Caucasus, Eastern Anatolia, and Mesopotamia share an ancient genetic history dating back to some of the world's first farmers, dominated at times by polytheistic Zoroastrian, Christian, and Islamic beliefs. The region has seen powerful empires come and go. While most of this ancestry is native to Western Asia, traces of Central and East Asian-like genetic signatures were introduced as a result of Turkic migrations and the 13th century Mongol invasion. So this is what I was suspecting, because looking at my grandmother, which has Turkic roots in her, I could see some Asian like genetic signatures, even like in a phenotypic way. So it's interesting that they acknowledge that here too. Today there are significant Armenian, Iranian, and Assyrian communities around the world, including many in the United States, which I'm guessing they mean LA. So yeah, it just shows little thing about the culture, which I obviously know everything about. Yeah, Yalda night, which is the longest night of the year, the winter solstice, and yeah, okay. Also, in terms of the provinces, for me, it ranks Yazd province as number 1, which is really, really odd because I don't know anybody in Yazd and I have nothing to do with it. And it's funny that it pops up as the number 1. And then we have Kerman province, which I also don't know anybody there. And Tehran, which I am from, is number 3. Isfahan, I don't know anyone. Markazi province is where my dad's family is from, and that one pops up as 5. Hamadan, we have some relatives there. And yeah, it shows some other provinces. Of these, only Azerbaijan makes sense also because we have some Turkish family, and yeah, but it's so weird that Yazd pops up at the first province, and this is a cool feature. Then I have the Anatolian 3.3% part, But it is still weird for me that it shows Turkey and not Azerbaijan country. Because my Turkish part, they're not from Turkey. So Anatolia, a fertile peninsula above the eastern Mediterranean, has served as a genetic bridge between Asia and Europe for over 40,000 years. Early Anatolian farmers laid the groundwork for powerful civilizations like the Bronze Age, Hittite, Empire, followed by centuries of Persian, Greek, and Roman rule. The Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium, survived in various forms until falling in the 15th century to the Ottoman Turks, who introduced a Central Asian-like genetic signature. And yeah, this is Cappadocia, which is a beautiful city that I still haven't visited in Turkey, and it has a Turkish sentence, literally translated pot with a whistle, a düdüklü something is a type of pressure cooker. And same as Iran, apparently they have a lot of cats in the streets, and as you know, Persian cats are famous, and they're just cats everywhere. We love them. Sufi dance and Molavi dance, and Turkish coffee, my favorite, with these soft sweet stuff that I love. Preparing Turk kahvesi or Turkish coffee requires a lot of attention to detail and a little imagination. You can serve your coffee sade. This is the same as Farsi. Sade means simple and plain. So here it means black. As şekerli, lightly sweetened, comes from the word sugar. And çok şekerli, very sweet. But remember these coffee fundamentals. Before you start brewing, I already know how to make it, and I love it. So yeah, that's pretty much what the ancestry is. It also shows you some family members that did the test, and I will show that later. But I realized that some of my family members actually did the test, and the results are really interesting too. So now I'm going to show you my health stuff, and also, I forgot to show you something else. So it also shows ancestry timeline and parental inheritance and stuff like that. And yeah, DNA relatives. So let's first look at the Neanderthal ancestry, because I was really curious about that. So Neanderthals are another species of human-like species, I guess. So not Homo sapiens, they were Neanderthals, but they got extinct, but some of their DNA is still in us, which is just a little bit less than 2%, but some people have more and some people have less. And I have more than 58% of other customers. So I am above the average when it comes to Neanderthal DNA. Doesn't mean a lot, but I was curious about it. So I have 244 variants. And what does that mean? So it influences some of my traits. I have a worse sense of direction. One variant associated with that. It doesn't mean I have a bad sense of direction in total. And 2 variants associated with being a better sprinter than a distance runner. This is really true. I am much better at sprinting, and I'm really bad at distance running. one variant associated with being more likely to prefer dark chocolate over milk chocolate. I do like dark chocolate. You have one variant associated with being less likely to sneeze after eating dark chocolate. Well, I've never sneezed after that. Zero variants associated with having difficulty discarding rarely used possessions. Yeah, I don't have a difficulty with throwing stuff out. Yeah, not itchy, and zero variants with generally not feeling angry when hungry. Yeah, I'd never feel angry, hangry. I don't have a fear of heights. I don't have an apple body shape. And I actually don't have a great ability to smell, which is weird. You have zero variants associated with being more likely to have a fear of public speaking. I don't have like a fear of public speaking. I just don't have like the most loud sound, which it just makes it kind of difficult. And every time I have to speak publicly, I have to like really practice so I can work on my volume. You have zero variants associated with being more likely to cry while cutting onions. I cry a lot actually when I cut onions. It is such a pain, which is why I wasn't cooking for a while, and then I realized I can buy this kind of tool to cut onions, and it changed my life. Then yeah, these are just some other things. Apparently I don't have any variants for them. Yeah, I do like leafy greens and yep. I don't have any dandruff, thank God. I don't have a chin dimple. I might have it, I don't know. Okay, so let's move on to the health and traits part. Heart health. Type 2 diabetes, increased likelihood. Yeah, in terms of health predispositions, I have to be careful about type 2 diabetes. I have apparently, based on data from 23andMe research, people of European descent with genetics like yours have an estimated 51% chance of developing type 2 diabetes at some point between ages of 27, your current age, and 80. So that's very scary, and I have to be really careful with my diet and sugar intake. My uncle actually has type 2 diabetes, so this is something that I have to keep an eye on. And it's good to do like these sort of tests, because then you know that the diabetes, like your genetics are not helping you, they're actually predisposing you, so you need to be extra careful. Let's look at sleep quality. Deep sleep, less likely to be a deep sleeper. Let's look at other health predispositions. So type 2 diabetes, as I said, increased likelihood. Celiac disease, slightly increased risk. Age-related macular degeneration, variant detected, but not likely at increased risk. Then all other things, Parkinson, late onset Alzheimer's disease, hereditary thrombophilia, hemochromatosis, some deficiencies, and all that, kidney disease, breast cancer, It's really cool that it also shows breast cancer. Thank God that I don't have those, especially if I had the variants for BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes. I would be pretty scared. So yeah, this is something that you have to also be ready to deal with. It's like knowledge that is a little bit scary, but thank God that I don't have variants associated with those things. Just type 2 diabetes is something that I have to be careful about. Yeah, and the other things, I'm not at a high risk. Celiac disease, you can apparently control it by not eating, what is it called? Gluten. So gluten found in wheat, barley, and rye is the main non-genetic factor that triggers the development of celiac disease in people with increased genetic risk. But I am not at a high risk, and I eat gluten all the time. But it's something that like is manageable. But if you have like a variant for a cancer gene, that is like very difficult to deal with. But still, it also shows that maybe you have to get checkups more frequently. That way you can stop it at an earlier stage. So I really like to know these things. And age-related macular degeneration, I believe, is something eye-related. So it's the most common cause of irreversible vision loss among older adults. So it's something that comes with old age. The disease results in damage to the central part of the retina, the macula, impairing vision needed for reading, driving, or even recognizing faces. The test includes 2 most common variants associated with an increased risk of developing the condition. So with this, I only have one variant, which is not too bad. You have one variant and limitations, does not test for all variants, and it shows the variant included in this test are common in many ethnicities but are best studied in people of European descent. It shows you're not likely at increased risk, which is good. I don't know anyone in my family that has it, but I think you also have to become really, really old, and we usually don't get that old. Smoking can trigger it. I don't smoke. Age, so over the age of 80, 2 to 14% get it, with the ones that have variants. As I said, we rarely go over 80 in my family, so it's probably something that I shouldn't worry about. Then we have this carrier status. So every person has 2 alleles, one from the mom and one from the dad. And if you are a carrier for something, it means you have 1 allele. And so in terms of diseases that are autosomal recessive, if you have just one of them, you won't show it. But if you and your partner both have both are carriers, you have like a 25% chance of giving it to your children in a way that they will show like symptoms of the disease, which is pretty bad. And that's why I like to do these tests to just know like what I might be carrying. And if so, it looks like I'm not a carrier for any major disease, the ones that at least they tested, which is good. But if I was a carrier, I would definitely in the future have my partner be tested as well, so I would know that there is a low risk. So yeah, this is very important. So we've looked at health predispositions, carrier status, and I'm going to look at the wellness and traits. Wellness. So alcohol flush reaction, unlikely to flush. Caffeine consumption, likely to consume less. This is true. I don't really love coffee as much as other people. I do love it, but not as much as other people. Deep sleep, less likely to be a deep sleeper. Actually, like once I sleep, nothing can wake me up, but like if something major happens, I probably would wake up, I guess. Genetic weight, predisposed to weigh more than average. Oh, that's so sad. Your genes predispose you to weigh about 6% more than average. So, variants associated with lower weight are 361, variants associated with higher weight 349. So it shows like almost like a 50-50%, but a little bit more predisposed to weigh more, which is kind of true. I do believe it. I do like to eat when I'm bored, and it's a little bit more difficult to be underweight. Avoid fast food, exercise, limit red meat, eat vegetables, sleeping in a healthy amount. I really do believe that like sleeping will affect the weight. If you don't sleep enough, you will feel tired and you will just want to compensate for your tiredness by eating, and also all your hormones and everything will be different. And there was a time where I thought like I will work more and sleep less, but it really did the opposite for me. So always try to sleep as much as you can. So this again shows that weight is not completely like you might be a little bit overweight or underweight, and it's like genetic too. That's why identical twins have exactly the same bodies most of the time. And you can, like, to a certain degree, control it, but there is obviously genetic components to it. And yeah, lactose intolerant. It says I'm likely intolerant, which is odd because I eat lactose all the time and nothing happens to me. And muscle composition, common in elite power athletes. Okay. Saturated fat and weight, likely similar weight. Sleep movement, likely more than average movement, which is so true. I move so much. Before, wow. Yeah, I'm like off the charts. I move a lot. Whoever sleeps with me always suffers. When I was little, my mom and dad, like, they wouldn't let me sleep between them because I would move so much. And yeah, even before I sleep, I move a lot, and I don't know. I guess it shows it's genetic. But yeah. Now let's look at the traits. Cheek dimples. 58% chance that you don't have dimples. I don't have dimples. Cleft chin. 92% chance you do not have a cleft chin. I don't know. It's not like cleft chin, but it's not like a super smooth chin as well. Dandruff, 58% chance. You never had dandruff. Yeah, I don't have dandruff, but my older brother does, and I guess that's why the ratio is almost half. Like, it's not a super like, I don't know, high percent. Earlobe type, 83% chance you have detached earlobes. Yeah, they do look like the one on the top. They don't look like the smaller one. Earwax type, 91% chance you have wet, sticky earwax. Yes. Eye color. As you can see from all the colors that are shown here, yeah, it's pretty true. I do have brown eyes. They're not super dark, like they're not dark eyes. They're kind of, I would say, a dark hazel or hazel color. Yeah, so as you can see, a low percent of blue, greenish blue, but or green, and a lot of brown there. It is like pretty brown, but yeah, it is lighter than the average Iranian person. Finger length ratio, 66% chance your ring finger is longer than your index finger. Ring finger. Not really. Okay, which one is? Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, my ring finger is longer than the index finger. Freckles. Few, if any, freckles. Yes, I don't have any freckles. Hair photo bleaching, 51% chance. You do not experience hair photo bleaching. So it's almost 50-50. Actually, I kind of do like experience hair photo bleaching. In the summer, I always get a little bit lighter. My hair like gets a little bit more brown, while in the winter it looks more like dark. And some people even think my hair is black, which it isn't. It's yeah, it looks different depending on the sunlight, and if I washed it or not. If it's like kind of wet or dirty, it sticks together and looks more dark. Hair texture. Oh, this is interesting. So based on my DNA, it thinks that I have mostly wavy hair, slightly wavy hair, which is very true. 42% chance of slightly wavy hair, 24% chance of wavy hair, which is, yeah, that's exactly it. It predicted my hair texture from my DNA. So 1% of very tight curls. It knows that I don't have tight curls or small curls or big curls. 19% chance of straight hair. No. That is very, very cool. And my hair color. As you can see, it predicted that I have brown hair. 67% dark brown. That's exactly what I think it is, dark brown. It's not black, it's not light brown, dark blonde, or light blonde. It's exactly this color that it's showing, dark brown. And newborn hair. 52% chance you had little or no hair at birth. 48% chance you had lots of hair at birth. I actually had a little bit of hair, but not too much. Red hair. Yeah, I don't have red hair. It's brown. So skin pigmentation. 39% chance of light beige skin, 24% chance of moderately fair skin, 16% chance of olive skin. So yeah, it's pretty accurate. It notes that I'm something intermediate, not very fair, not dark brown or light brown. It's something beige, olive, like that. Stretch marks, 75% chance you have stretch marks. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I got them when I was a teenager, mostly because back then, being very thin was trendy. So I tried to lose a lot of weight and look very, very skinny. And it's not like my body type. I'm kind of like, I'm not big, but like I'm supposed to have my curves where like I'm supposed to have them. So trying to become flat and then coming back to where I am now, it made me like get those. But they're not like that bad. They're just a little bit. Toe length ratio, 61% chance you have a longer big toe. Actually, my second toe is longer. So this one, it wasn't right. And this one is so interesting. Unibrow. 53% chance you have a little bit of a unibrow. Yes, I do. I have a unibrow. It's not like as thick as my actual brows, but they're there. Like it's not, yeah, I have a unibrow. It's not a thick, exactly as it predicts. It's not a thick unibrow. It's not like I don't have a unibrow. I have a little bit of a unibrow. And unibrows are really actually, they used to be apparently popular back then in Iran, which is why they genetically selected for them. And all my family actually has a unibrow, and it's genetic. But I do like it. I mean, it makes my other parts of the brow look good. So I like my brows in general now. But actually, when I was younger, I hated it. And I couldn't wait until I got older to make my brows thinner. But now I do like them. Widow's Peak. I don't have them. It also found my relatives. I really like this feature. You can see people in your family. So I have, didn't know that my cousins actually did this test, but you will get connected to them immediately. And it's so weird because it just does that based on your DNAs. It doesn't know that you guys are related. And it's really, really cool. So I can look at my first cousin's DNA. She is actually one generation closer to my grandmother, who was Turkish. So I'm guessing she will have more Turkish in her. And as you can see, there is more complexity to her than there is in my DNA, which comes from, I think, the Turkish side. So let's see. For her, she has more Central and South Asian. So it's comparing my DNA to her DNA. She has Central Asian, Northern Indian, and Pakistani, 6.5%. Central Asian, 6.4%. And broadly Central Asian, Northern Indian, and Pakistani, 0.1%. She also has East Asian and Indigenous American, Chinese Southeast Asian, 0.5%, Chinese Dai, 0.3%, broadly Chinese and Southeast Asian, 0.2%, Northern Asian, 0.2, Siberian 0.2, broadly East Asian and Indigenous American. So it's really interesting that for her, these like showed up at these percentages, and it shows that I think, yeah, so for me instead, it's really weird. I get a higher percentage for Anatolian than her, but she gets all these other Asian genetic signatures, and I think comes from the Turkish side. So I wish my grandmother was alive and I could test her. So maternal haplogroup for me is J1C8, and for her is also J1C8, because yeah, we are from the same maternal haplogroup. And yeah, also we have the maternal and paternal haplogroups. I don't have a paternal haplogroup because I don't have a Y chromosome. I'm an XX, a female. So if you want to see information from the paternal haplogroup, if you have a brother, I think they would show that. I mean, there's a good chance that you can see what's happening there from them, but I wanted to do the test myself because I don't know, I wanted to see it for me, but it's like it would be better if I make my brother do it, so I would see the paternal haplogroups. My maternal haplogroup is J1C8. Okay, oops. So my maternal haplogroup is J1C8, and your haplogroup shared with King Richard III traces the long line of women in your family tree. And the maternal haplogroup actually comes from the mitochondrial DNA, I believe, which you only get from your mom. You get it from like the mother's side because the mitochondria is in the egg, which has everything, while the sperm only gives the nuclear DNA. And yeah, so from the beginning, moms always give more energy and everything, even at a cellular level, they contribute more. Migration of your maternal line. So J is showing where Armenia and Turkey are, or the Caucasoid region, and it shows 4 migration patterns going all around. One goes to Iran and Central Asia, one goes to East Europe, and one goes to true Turkey and Greece and other parts of Europe. So if every person living today could trace his or her maternal line back over thousands of generations, all of our lines would meet at a single woman who lived in Eastern Africa between 150,000 and 200,000 years ago. Though she was one of perhaps thousands of women alive at the time, only the diverse branches of her haplogroup have survived to today. The story of your maternal line begins with her. Haplogroup L3, 65,000 years ago, is in Africa, the oldest one. Then we have haplogroup N, which is in Saudi Arabia, 59,000 years ago. Haplogroup R, which is in modern-day Iraq, 57,000 years ago. Then haplogroup J, 34,000 years ago. So J is a more recent haplogroup on the evolutionary timeline. Origin and migration of haplogroup J1C8. Your maternal line stems from a branch of J called J1C8 haplogroup J1C8 is a relatively young haplogroup that traces back to a woman who lived approximately 6,000 years ago. It's not too long ago. Her ancestors migrated into Europe from the Middle East as the Ice Age receded between 14,000 and 11,000 years ago. While J1C8 already existed in the West before the spread of agriculture, it likely expanded along with the farming populations as they moved west across the continent. So today, members of J1C8 are found almost exclusively within Europe, and researchers speculate that the traces of J1C8 in the Middle East are due to eastward migrations of people much later in human history. So I don't know what that means. So 1 in 320 customers have this haplogroup. I am related to a king in Europe. Yeah, it's really interesting. And yeah, here it shows how you get it from the mitochondrial DNA. Maternal haplogroups are determined by sets of genetic variants in a tiny, unusual loop of DNA called mitochondrial DNA. And this is how they trace the maternal inheritance. And the only way to trace the paternal inheritance, I believe, is through the Y chromosome. So, and this is for all the other available haplogroups throughout the evolutionarily timeline. As you can see, the oldest ones, L, and then M, D, and all these ones. And J is a relatively new one. And yeah, that's it. So it also has a feature where it shows you ancestry timeline. And for me, it shows the Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian ancestry as a very recent ancestry. Like in terms of generations, it shows like 1 and 2. But the Anatolian part is in my like 5 to 8 like generations. So it's more like further back, and then it doesn't have anything past 8 generations. So that's why I think this test is not interesting for people who know like their recent ancestry like me, and it doesn't show anything further back. And that's why like that's one of the limitations of 23andMe. And I think if you want to look at further like past ancestry, you should think about maybe the ancestry test, or maybe like MyHeritage or something else. But definitely 23andMe is useful if you want to see what your Neanderthal DNA is like, what your health predispositions are. And the good thing is that you just pay for it once and then you're done. Like it doesn't have subscriptions. And yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave a comment. And also, if you did 23andMe, I would like to know your results and share it down below.